Jacket attack that plays tonight in the NIT Finals. Tech will run head-on into ringleader Sean Sutton and the high-flying Oklahoma State Cowboys. Which coach will have the headache tonight, Bobby Cremins or Eddie Sutton? The championship of the NIT coming up next. This is Madison Square Garden, New York City. Tonight, on a holiday weekend, the championship game of the NIT, 11th-ranked Oklahoma State and the 18th-ranked Yellow Jackets of Georgia Tech. And a very pleasant good evening to you, everyone. I'm Tom Mees. In just a moment, we'll be going live to Madison Square Garden in New York, where Barry Tompkins and Dick Vitale are standing by to call the NIT championship game. But stay with us all night long, because after the NIT, we'll go down to the brand-new Pyramid in Memphis. 20,000 crazies will be there to watch Memphis State and 20th-ranked DePaul in the first-ever game in the new conference, the Great Midwest. That's DePaul joining the Great Midwest, along with Memphis State, leaving the Metro to come over tonight, 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific time. But now back to the business at hand. Game one of the NIT, rather the championship game of the NIT, our first game tonight. Oklahoma State beating Evansville, Purdue, and Pitt to get to Madison Square Garden tonight. Georgia Tech beat James Madison and Colorado State, then came to Madison Square Garden a couple of nights ago with a very impressive win over the University of Texas. Travis Best will be the big name to watch for Georgia Tech tonight. We showed you Sean Sutton, the coach's son, but remember this name, Byron Houston. He will make a big impact for the Oklahoma State Cowboys tonight. So it's Oklahoma State and Georgia Tech. They're about ready to tip it off at Madison Square Garden for the championship of the NIT. Stay with us. We'll be going there in just a moment.
Well, it's been a couple of days of feasting here in the city of New York. Last night we feasted on turkey and dressing, and tonight we feast on basketball. Madison Square Garden plays host to the final of the preseason NIT. It'll be Oklahoma State and Georgia Tech. Hello, everybody. I'm Barry Tompkins. It's a game that everybody's talking about the big guys. They're talking about the Geigers and the Mackeys and the Houstons. And don't you know, whenever people talk about the big guys, it's the little guys who step up. So let's take a look for just a minute at the guys like Travis Best and John Barry of Georgia Tech and the three guards that Oklahoma State will put up against them, and see if in fact tonight bigger really is better. Well, joining me tonight as always, the coach, Dick Vitale. And where's the coach? Coaching.
Barry, part of the coaching profession I miss the most is being in a locker room working on a chalkboard. But the TV monitor is going to do. And tonight I'm going to talk a little bit about Oklahoma State's tremendous team defense. It all started years ago at Oklahoma State under the father of defense, Mr. Hank Iba. Now his pupil, Eddie Sutton, is implementing the same theories. Here's part one of the 4 phases. Part one is perimeter defense, the ability to beat the man to the spot, drive him where you want, and pressure the basketball. Watch number 14. Derwin Alexander. He beats his man everywhere he goes, stays between his man and the basket at all times, and then pressures the ball and makes him pass the basketball to the perimeter. The second part of the defense is called help defense, the ability to help out. And part of help defense is the principle of hedging. We're going to watch number 35, Houston. Hedge it, freeze! That is hedging, baby. That is the principle of stepping out, closing the driving angle. And the third part of the defense is what we call beat the cutter to the ball. The ability to stop the cutter to get between you and the basket. Watch number 35, Houston in white, against number 24, McNeil. McNeil's going to try to run a horizontal cut. He flashes to the ball. Freeze it. 35, Houston beats him to the spot, makes them reverse the ball, does a tremendous job in beating the cutter to the ball. And the fourth phase, the final phase, is blocking out. The ability to rebound and get great position. Watch number 50, Brian Reeves, as he blocks out to keep his man away from attacking the glass. Freeze it. And then he allows his teammate, Houston, to get a lane and to grab the ball and to rebound. Those 4 parts usually take you to the winner's circle. Yes, if they're to win tonight, they must stop Malcolm Mackey, they must stop Mike Geiger, the 2 giants. And if they do that, they leave Madison Square Garden with the gold trophy.
Who can you trust these days to take care of your car when it starts shaking?
Or pulling, or rattling.
Or squeak.
ESPN's coverage of the NIT is brought to you by Reebok, who reminds you that life is short. Play hard. And by ESPN Home Video, producers and distributors of Super Slams. Available at video and retail stores nationwide.
Barry Tompkins with Dick Vitale. We're back at the Garden and just about set to tip it off in this preseason NIT final. Eddie Sutton said he thought he'd have a pretty good team in about a month. If he wins tonight, he's 5-0 going back home to Stillwater, Oklahoma, so maybe it might not take his team a month. His 22nd year as a head coach. Let's take a look at the starting five for Oklahoma State. And a guy who's going to have to grow up in a big hurry is the freshman Bryant Reeves. He's going to have a lot of meat all around him all night long. He will have to hold his own if Oklahoma State is to get the job done. As to Bobby Cremins, a guy who perhaps is not given the due credit that he deserves as a head coach. Great recruiter. People have always said great recruiter, but maybe can't coach so well. He's making doubters out of those people. John Barry has been a key factor for him. 25 points last night, 25 points in the game before that. A great contributor, and of course, they have the trees up front. Good basketball team, Georgia Tech.
I'll tell you one thing, Barry. You mentioned about Bobby Cremins. He has the greatest asset you have to possess in coaching, the ability to communicate with people.
Mackey got a little jump over Houston. It won't go, and there's Reeves with a rebound.
Reeves is going to be a heck of a player. You watch that kid in about 2 years. He just needs competition.
Lost the handle on it that time. Tech comes away with it. Geiger to Barry.
Barry's really improved his ability to drive to the basket.
Houston playing Mackey head up, and that time Mackey got the body leaning in the right direction but couldn't get it to go.
Houston gets his first rebound, and we know he's going to have many, many more. Here he is on a perimeter.
Not shy about that, and he'll bring Mackey out with him.
Well, he hit 5 threes in game one. Unbelievable. He's a guy that'll catch the ball and shoot it. He has to learn to do a little bit more with the dribble. See, he catches and shoots.
And a nice look. Squares up. Perfect.
Gets a good body square. He has to add a little bit of dribbling moves with the basketball to his game to get a little versatility on a perimeter.
Oklahoma State would like to keep this game, I would have to think, Dick, in the 60s, probably the low 60s even.
Tempo is very important in Oklahoma State. Look at that great defense by Alexander. It looked like a simple play, but he kept best on a perimeter.
Forrest faces up, a little short.
Really not in the comfort zone, playing out on a wing. He has to be in the boxes inside.
Williams, good penetration. Williams battling the flu a little bit. And another turnover for Oklahoma State too early in this game. Nice pass from Best to Barry. Led him a little bit too much. Barry was on the line.
Tough play right there for John Barry. It looked like it was going to be a great lead, but was just a little bit too long. Travis Best, we're going to love him before this season's over. He's just going to get better and better. Young player, freshman. It's great penetration ability.
Really poised too.
Watch the poise right now and the excellent spacing by Oklahoma State out of their half-court offense. Usually take the high percentage shot, like to get triangles. Look, they have Reeves inside. They didn't throw it to him.
There he is, all alone. Nice call, Dick. A little short with the shot, though.
Well, he had good post position inside, playing behind him.
Williams drove to the basket. Geiger might have got a piece of that.
Geiger says, no, Williams, get it out of here, little guy. You can't bring it in here with the big trees. They're looking to go to Mackey inside or Geiger.
Geiger drew a crowd and still got it down.
Tough play. Geiger seals off the defense. Little jump hook in the lane. He played brilliantly in game one. Sutton always under control. Almost wore the uniform of Georgia Tech. Interesting story. We'll get into it later.
Nice pass and a shot to Reeves. Just can't get it down. Williams got him the ball in perfect position.
Reeves has to get a little bit quicker to the basket, and that will come when you start to utilize all the different tools that can help you to become quicker. Foot drills, jump rope. They're fronting down in the box. They throw the ball over the top of the defense to the offside. See, against, so watch the second effort, draws the contact. Oh, a little triple screen.
Alexander not shy, but he's a little bit short with it. And that's going to be, I believe, off of Barry. It'll be Oklahoma State's ball.
They're playing the 3 guards right now with Williams, Alexander, and also with Sutton. It'll be interesting on the other end of the floor to see if they take James Forrest inside. Oh, they missed. Had Williams wide open on the screen.
Get it to Houston, and Houston is hammered. You can see how much Mackey respects Houston's ability to step out and shoot.
Well, they talked about that today at their shoot-around. They really worked at the shoot-around. There's the big hug, the football huddle. They really worked, Mackey did, defensively, rotating out, trying to bother Houston. And they told him today, they said, look, when he catches, he's looking to shoot. He won't put it on the floor, so attack him strong.
Houston at the line, not a bad free throw shooter.
He has great touch. He's not 6'8", as we said the other day, about 6'5½", but it really doesn't matter if you're a great player.
Yeah, the school on him, and the thought is that he will be able to play the power forward position at the next level despite the fact that he's 6'6".
Well, Larry Johnson's doing it right now to help his game tremendously if he can add just a little bit more foot speed and quickness. What makes him a little unique is that he can also play on a defensive end. He gets great position defensively.
Barry for three is short.
We had a great block out by Houston right there on Mackey. I mean, he laid the body on him as soon as the ball went to the glass. See, they had a backdoor cut. They missed it. Georgia Tech was working on trying to stop the ball reversal today at practice.
Reeves to Sutton, the cutter. Cowboys missing some fairly easy shots early in the going. Nice pass from Barry down the lane was Mackey, and no
Wave it off, wave it off, wave it off. Barry with that good feel, that good touch look, great vision. He had the play, really anticipated a step early. Reminiscent of a guy by the name of Rick Barry when he played. There it is right now. Watch this. Oh, great look. Great look.
Barry to the baseline, floats it up, it won't go.
Changes. Used his left hand, too, on that little floating drive.
Sutton tried to knock it off of Barry, but Sutton was on the end line when he did so.
Sutton and Barry, really interesting. Kevin Cantwell, the assistant, told us today he was in a hotel room with Pam Barry, remarried, a guy by the name of Bill Conley, stepdad, and it was sitting there as Best throws up the jumper, and they were trying to convince Barry to wear the Oklahoma State uniform, and then Cantwell came in, was trying to talk to him to play at Georgia Tech. He went to Georgia Tech. Scored a basket.
Rejected by Geiger, but score it.
The next day, he said he went over to Lexington, Kentucky, the assistant coach Cantwell, and he tried to recruit Sean Sutton to play for Georgia Tech. Sean looked and he said, not with Kenny Anderson there. I'm not sitting on a pine, baby, for the entire year.
Interestingly enough, the man with the ball, Travis Best, said, I'm going there, Kenny Anderson or no. Mackey, the floater.
I really like his ability down in the low post. He's spreading, using his body really well. He holds off the defensive line. Look at Mackey and Houston going at it. I mean, Houston is, he is tough. He's giving away about 5 inches.
Alexander tosses it in. That's a 2. He was on the line.
Doesn't look pretty the way he shoots it. He shoots it from down like a one-hander. Struggled at the end of the year shooting the ball, but shooting much better right now.
Averaging about 12 a game. Second leading scorer for the Cowboys.
See how they're trying to get a lot of help on Mackey?
That leaves Best for the 3, but it won't go.
The decision they're making is to play behind Mackey and bring help down from the perimeter.
3-on-2, and Alexander backs it out.
Oh, great fake.
Nice touch by Sutton. Doesn't shoot much, but takes the high percentage shot.
Also distributes the ball really well. Is that born leader, wants to be a coach. Right now, Oklahoma State's doing a great job controlling the tempo of the game.
I think they're going to get Reeves from behind on Geiger away from the ball, and that's also a little battle that's going on there.
I think a key player in this game is going to be a guy by the name of Randy Davis when he comes off the bench. He gives Oklahoma State another athlete who can play on the inside and replace Brian Reeves.
Second personal on Reeves. We'll be back.
I come out, I play hard, I give 110%. Every time we play, no matter who we play against or what sort of team, we have to have against us. That's just what I do. I come out, I play strong no matter what.
Byron did a great job right there, squaring his body, as we said earlier. He sounded a little bit like Mike Tyson right there. And I'll tell you what, if we went in the ring with Tyson, I'd put my money right on this guy right now. Hit Tyson with that left hook.
About even money. When I was talking to the team manager about him and what his leadership role is, he said, talks like Jane, plays like Tarzan. John Barry off the glass.
Great drive by Barry. Poor job defensively. No, look at that steal by Barry. Good anticipation. Barry is always thinking on the floor. He doesn't react. He's a thinker. He anticipates. Oh, they had the box inside. Oh, there's the great.
And there's the pass from Sutton you were talking about.
Diagonal pass off the back screen. They worked on it all day yesterday on Thanksgiving Day. I watched them here at practice, and they were running that play constantly.
And another turnover. Alexander asking for help. Gets it from the big guy.
They really create a lot of havoc with their defensive help. Houston multi-dimensional, playing out on the perimeter, taking Mackey away. So he's bringing Mackey way out on the top. Splits the defense, kicks the ball out. These three guys can play, Williams, Alexander, and Sutton.
Williams rims it. Travis Best will push it. Georgia Tech looking inside first.
Inside out, kick the ball back out. Sutton matched up on Barry.
Mackey and Houston did just enough.
See, really, James Forrest is not in the game at all, and I think he can post on Williams inside. I mean, he has him by about 6 inches, and he can take his body inside, but he's playing out on the perimeter. They're spreading the court. They like to keep the lane open, always looking for some back cuts.
Good help out by Barry, but he also reached in and fouled.
They try to get into what they call dribble penetration. They spread the court. They take away any kind of help defensively. Timmy Higgins with the call, one of the premier officials in the game. There's Bobby Cremens. He's back home in New York City. Didn't have practice yesterday. He was one coach who said, we need the day off. We had that run and shoot game against Texas, and he decided to take the day off, let him enjoy Thanksgiving, but had him out here today.
Pittsburgh beating Texas, incidentally, earlier in the consolation game.
Hatcher on the floor, number 24, a defensive specialist.
So too is Randy Davis coming on for Eddie Sutton, and Reeves will take a seat with 4 rebounds, so he has helped out.
Yeah, he really made his presence. He's really been a productive player for a guy that was thinking really about redshirting. Came from a town we talked about, only 300 people. Yesterday in the elevator, the guys were talking to him. He said, there's 3 buildings in my town. They said, 3? Last time there were 2. Did they build another one since then? There he is. He said there's the post office, the city hall, and the school.
Hatcher now playing for us, and Hatcher is a monster defensively. But a reminder that we've got a football tripleheader coming your way here on ESPN. Tomorrow we get underway 4 o'clock Eastern time. Auburn in Alabama, San Diego State, Miami. Marshall Falk, a young freshman. They got a good program at San Diego State. They won 8 ball games this year. And then Notre Dame travels to Hawaii, and Hawaii always has a sense of lulling the big teams into a sense of complacency.
Well, the Fighting Irish need to win their last 2 games. They've really suffered that big blowout against Penn State after the heartbreaking loss at home to Tennessee. That's a must-win for them.
There is Forrest getting into the action.
James Forrest, what a tremendous high school player. One of the top 10 in America last year out of Atlanta, Georgia. Look at that great spacing. Always trying to get a triangle with a post guy. We do a lot of, we call post screening inside.
There's Houston, got Mackey in the air, put it on the floor, as you said, and took it to the basket.
That's the great play. Did you see how Mackey ran at him, and he was ready for it with the quick step to the goal. He's in triple threat position. He can shoot, he can drive, and he can pass. He took option number 2 and drove to the goal. Byron Houston is big time, my friends. He is flat out a PT peer, a prime time performer. Look at the head fake. He says, Mackey, you left some on the ground, baby. And there I am floating in the air. A little roll. His buddy by the name of John Starks is now playing 3rd guard for the Knicks, was here the other day, and he says, let me tell you something. Byron can play at our level.
Starks has been a great survivor in the NBA and finally has a real opportunity here in New York.
I like the way Sutton really leads the club. You very rarely see him take the bad shot or make the bad pass. They love playing together. They play. They're so well coached.
Sutton, the floater off the baseline.
Little running one-handed knee in the air out of the olden days of Bob Cousy, number 14 of the Celtics.
Wearing those shoes looks like the olden days.
Oh, get rid of those shoes. Those black shoes. Vegas used to wear them. I hate them. They're ugly.
There's another turnover, too.
They make it look slow.
3 on 2 now. Let's see if they burn it. Sutton.
Makes the big shot. Get a TO, Mr. Cremens. In the Big Apple, get a TO, Robert.
6 points for Sutton, 3 of 4 from the floor, and he's not the shooter, folks. We'll be back.
Here they are in transition right now. Watch Sean Sutton, number 20. Freeze it. See right now. Freeze that, baby. He's thinking and looking for the basketball, but he lost concept of where the line is. Bad play by Mr. Sutton. He's too smart. He's too bright. A half a foot back, he's got a 3-point shot. So all you young people out there, you run in transition, get to the 3-point line. Sean Sutton is too smart as a player. He has too many good instincts, and you know what? If he were coaching, he'd take the guy out and sit him next to him when he becomes a coach next year and say, son, you run to the 3-point line. You're only like a half a foot away. Remember Rick Pitino said, I bench guys if they make that error and make that mistake. I don't mind if they miss, but don't make that error. Think 3.
Down low to Geiger. He has the smaller Davis on him. Davis did a nice job defensively and good help out defensively by the Cowboys.
Geiger's got to be a little quicker to the basket with the ball. Oh, nice pass to Davis. What a great entry. We have seen Houston pass the ball from the perimeter. We've seen him shoot the jumper from the perimeter, and we've seen him drive with the ball from the perimeter.
Right now, there is a clinic on the part of Oklahoma.
Look at him playing defense. Always giving help to one another. Oh, look at Hatcher. He's going to make my All-Rambo team along with Gerald Matkins from out of UCLA, who shut down Calvert Chaney.
Forrest and Hatcher jumped at him and got the foul.
James Forrest, they're trying to make a three out of him, rotating him on the perimeter. He's working hard at it. The problem is he's thinking with every play as opposed to just reacting and just playing.
You know, the interesting thing about Hatcher, he is a defensive specialist, if you will, and he says that he became a defensive specialist because he was a high school All-American in soccer, and he said what it did is it allowed him to think not one pass ahead, but two passes ahead.
I'll tell you, he was telling me about his soccer days yesterday in the lobby at a Marriott. We start talking about some of the football heroes, Thurman Thomas and Barry Sanders, who have been on TV. He said, Sanders, we never see him on the campus. We always see Thomas. Hey, Barry, get down on the campus, baby. The kids want to see you. And you know what, Barry? Bring some of the cash for the alumni fund, too. They can use some.
Football team could use him. Tough year for football at Oklahoma State.
You should see Barry Sanders jump. I did a Foot Locker Slam Fest contest, and I'm going to tell you something. The guy you talk about, a high riser bouncing off the floor, he was incredible. Oh, look at the zone now. They came out of their man-to-man. They were carving that man apart. They're in a 2-3 matchup right now. They have some unique slides out of that zone.
And it caused a turnover in fourth.
It's not a normal 2-3.
Here's a shooter, Vincent for three. Hard, Sutton rebounds.
He is a designated shooter. He can really light up the three-point shot. They got him out of junior college to provide that kind of spark. What quickness. What quickness. Corey Williams might be the quickest guy in college basketball from one end of the floor to the other. He runs a 40 in about 4.3. He's playing out in the wing. Look at that speed. I mean, he just, and you're looking at a guy with the basketball in his hands. He just blew by the defensive players.
And Davis picked up the foul on the rebound, his second.
See, like right now, I gotta believe Williams, good defensive player, but Best goes right by him.
And Davis rejects the shot.
Reverse the ball, swing the ball side to side, throw it over the top of the defense. Got to use the skip pass against the 2-3 zone. The skip pass is the most effective pass where you bypass Eddie Sutton. See, I mean Sean Sutton. Eddie Sutton was talking about that yesterday. Use the skip pass. See, one pass away, the defense slides right with you.
Byron Houston.
He's really putting a show on in the Big Apple. This is where to do it. New York, baby.
Do it here, do it anywhere. Isn't that what it says in the song?
Francis Albert sings it. No one sings it better.
4 for 4 from the floor for Byron Houston, 10 points.
One of my great thrills in life was backstage at Pine Knob out in Michigan when I was the coach of the Pistons. Got a chance to go backstage to meet Francis Albert. He had his hands folded in the back. I didn't care. I still was going to kiss his ring. They said you had to kiss his ring, baby.
It was his, not Jilly Rizzo's.
Uh-oh. He didn't know who I was. He said, who's this guy coming back here? See, what I mean by a skip pass is you bypass Sean Sutton on top. If you throw the ball one pass away like that, the defense just has an easy slide. You got to try to look by that. Defense rotates with his own defense to the basketball. They're trying to match up, play a man in the area of the floor. See how they match up right on Sutton. Always want to put a defensive player to the basketball. Overload against the matchup. Swing the ball, you'll get a good shot.
Sutton for three. It was an open three, although a good job defensively by Barry to jump at it. Mackey down low, got Davis in the air.
Great head fake. Again, for you young people out there, a little clinic by Mackey. Use the ball and head fake, you young kids playing the game. You can really freeze the defensive player and get the shot you want. That 2-3 zone's got a lot of holes to it. They missed Davis.
Davis, an athlete. He's going to see a lot more minutes from Eddie Sutton as this season goes on.
Well, he flashed the ball initially, and they missed him. There's a big gap in that zone. We call it seams. Got to attack those seams. You see no zone right here. You see man-to-man. Houston got to watch out for a silly foul right there in the post.
Look at him help out, though. Trap the ball. Finally, Best gives it up nicely. Good help again from Davis from the weak side.
I thought he'd be a productive player off the bench. He gives him quickness and athletic ability. He's just got to get a little stronger, Davis. I love the unselfishness of Houston. He gets 30 in a very unselfish way. It's not a gun. swing that ball. Back to man-to-man defense right now by Georgia Tech. Always trying to use the post to create something. Good things happen if you can get the ball down in the post.
Houston for three. First miss for him. Nice job by Milton Brown to keep it alive, but it's out of bounds and going into about the 5th row. As Davis told you, he's an athlete.
Well, he's hustling and scrapping. That's part of the Eddie Sutton philosophy. We must scrap, we must hustle, we must have desire, determination to get the goal.
We're Multimedia Cablevision.
Barry Tompkins with Dick Vitale back at the Garden. This is the final of the preseason NIT, and right now this is a coach's clinic. Right, Oklahoma State at the moment moving the ball well, playing great help out defense, outboarding them. They're doing everything right.
I'll tell you one thing, Barry, you're exactly correct about the movement of the basketball. And when a team moves the ball and has player movement, you're going to get a good shot. I think the real key is the defensive end, their post defense. Their post defense inside on Mackey and Geiger has been sensational.
And Forrest has been invisible.
See, right now, points of emphasis with the officials is playing the post. In other words, not allowing a post player to get the advantage, what we call the swim stroke. And Mackey right there, frustrated against Houston, used the swim stroke to get free, and they nailed him with the call.
And the 3rd foul significantly against Mackey. He's going to get a little bench time.
I am so impressed with the defensive ability of Byron Houston. Forget about his offensive ability, that's a given. But defensively, does he really work and loves the challenge of playing the big guy.
Forrest just got away with a mugging on Alexander.
See, matchups really tough when those little guys are on the floor.
They left Alexander for that 3, and he obliged. Nice play again by Houston. That little thing doesn't show up in the book. And finally, the 3 by Williams.
Corey Williams is from out of that area down in Georgia, Macon, Georgia. Played at Northeast High School. Did play at the famous Southwest High School that produced Norm Nixon, Jeff Malone, coached by Don Richardson.
Dagger too hard, and the follow by Forrest.
That's where he belongs, right around the basket. Big, strong, physical, tough player. Whenever you take kids and try to make them adjust to play another position, trying to get a 2-guard, a shooter to try and be a point guard, or a post guy, a 5 guy to play on a perimeter at the 4, very tough. Oh, there's an absolute mugging. Oh, he mugged Houston. Call the foul. Come on, Larry Burnett, call the foul.
That was a full takedown, wasn't it?
Wow. I thought we were watching WrestleMania. Hulk Hogan, baby.
I say it was a full takedown, except that Houston didn't go down.
Wow. I'll tell you, talk about wrestling, Oklahoma State. They put some teams out there.
Always
wrestling.
one of the best. Matter of fact, that when I was at Oklahoma State, I didn't even know this. The Wrestling Hall of Fame, right on campus there.
I'll tell you, they got a Hall of Fame in wrestling up in Iowa. You better believe that with Coach Gable up there. You talk about winning national championships.
In fact, I just happened to see this morning the wrestling rankings 1 and 2, Iowa and Oklahoma State.
Every year, big screen. See, last year he would get frustrated. He's been labeled a little as a dirty player. Hey, guys, remember the name. Brian Reeves. Remember the name. Come back in 2 years. We're going to be talking a lot about Mr. Reeves.
First time in New York, his first airplane trip coming up here. Great defense on Barry, too. Williams so quick. Look at him drop in and help out on the big guy. Nice shot by Newbell.
Ivano Newbell, a big post player, big physical kind of guy. I was teasing him about being an intimidating and tough guy. He said, I'm not that tough.
Next week, NCAA basketball here on ESPN, the ACC Big East Challenge. Monday through Thursday, we get underway with a double dip. It'll be Wake Forest in Connecticut, followed by North Carolina State and Pitt. That'll be Monday night from Hartford, Connecticut.
I think that's great. I think it's a great situation. I'm going to give my Turkey Award out. That's right. Gobble, gobble, gobble to the Big East and Mike Tranchese and his people. They're ending that relationship. The ACC wants it to continue. The Big East, Paul Evans told me he'd like to have it. PJ Colesimo would like to have it. Jimmy Calhoun would. So that would make it 6-3 against, and they will not have it any longer.
Good look by Houston. Just missed the cutter Alexander.
I just think it's a great week of basketball. It's tremendous for recruiting. You got a week of exposure. You play against a tremendous team. So you got a potential 1 loss. Big deal. One less home game. I don't know. I think it's such a natural. Then again, I'm biased too because I like to do it on TV.
It's got to be like track and field. You know, everybody wants to avoid everybody until it really counts. Jump hook by Geis.
Geiger's really sealing off. He's added that jump hook to his game. His mom has told us he's a much more focused player this year, senior year. Transfer from out of Auburn.
Get it down low to Houston. And a travel on Houston.
Got a good crew on this game tonight. I love Larry Lembo, Timmy Higgins, and got Barnett. 3 good officials. There's a guy that can flat out coach. You talk about the best coaches in the nation. You better include Mr. Eddie Sutton. All you have to do is come out and watch practice. I was absolutely in awe yesterday watching him put a clinic on in a teaching situation here on Thanksgiving Day.
Tell you how well Oklahoma State is playing. They've held Georgia Tech to 36%. Here's another one.
And he doesn't have great personnel. He's got a great player in Byron Houston and a lot of other what we call very good players, but certainly not great players.
And another one.
Defense again. Trailer. Give it to the trailer.
Hatcher takes it himself.
Hatcher says, that's mine, baby. He says, no way. Darwin Alexander saying, hey, get me the rock.
And this is a 17-point game with 4:45 remaining in the half.
Travis Best has been totally neutralized. He hasn't been able to get in the lane with any penetration against the defense of Alexander.
There's a touchy call right there. Hatcher reached in. I mean, they've been letting him slam bodies all night. Hatcher reaches in and gets whistled.
He was recruited by everyone, as you said earlier, for soccer. He was so entertaining yesterday. I was talking to he and guys like Randy Davis, and we're sitting in the lobby just having loads of fun with the kids.
Hatcher really is a nice kid. They call him the Phantom.
Good win for Pittsburgh in that first game, beating Texas in a real outstanding basketball game, well-played game.
A lot of young kids on Paul Evans' team. He's going to make some noise, I think, before it's all done.
Oh, I think the Big East is the best conference in America. I really flat out do. I think the depth is unbelievable. It's so deep.
Talked about the fact that Tech shooting 36%. Conversely, Oklahoma State 63% in ball game so far. It shows on the scoreboard.
Well, it shows with their shot selection. High percentage shots. There's Reeves. They use the big guy up on top, then lay a screen and slide him inside. See, right now they got to slide Houston inside against Newville. He'll get a foul on him. Just get him the ball down in the box. Slide inside. Byron, go to the hole inside. He wants to float on the outside against him. He's got to slide to the box. Back screen.
Sutton to the basket.
Sean Sutton doesn't have that great speed. Just seems to make the good play all the time.
Barry had a pretty good look that time. Hit it off the left side. The one shot only, and here come the Cowboys.
He looks a little frustrated right now, John Barry. Unselfish play right there by Houston. Unselfish play again by Houston as he gives it to Sean Sutton and he makes it count.
Sutton throwing everything in.
He's saying, Bobby Cremers, you could have had me.
Oh, Barry off the glass.
Tough play by John Barry. He earned that deuce. He played in junior college at Paris along with Hatcher. They played together.
Sutton 5 of 6 from the floor, 10 points.
Doesn't take a bad shot.
Houston's
wide open.
Second try, Milt Brown.
No one blocked out. Bobby Cremers has to be concerned with the tempo right now and the fact that Oklahoma State's done a great job making the game a half-court game, 5 against 5. And if they're going to play 5 against 5 against you, they got a great chance to win because of execution.
Everything has gone the way of Oklahoma State. They got Mackey in foul trouble. He'll sit most likely the rest of the half.
I was talking to the team doctor yesterday at the practice session, Dr. Cooper. And Dr. Cooper said, hey, I sat here with Hank Iba. I sat with Tex Winter over at Kansas State. And listening to Coach Sutton was like deja vu, hearing the voice of Mr. Iba. The same principles and theories coming out constantly.
And troubles mounting upon troubles for Georgia Tech.
There's the good old doctor. Really a jovial guy, tremendous person. Does a lot of clinics, speaking all over America. Dump it into him. Whenever he's got the guy behind him, get him the rock.
Got the man in the air, but a little too hard with the leaner.
Had the poor angle. See, here's where Travis Best got to strip the defensive player. He's staying on a perimeter, and he's playing against him head-to-head.
Look at Williams. Jumps out at Best for the 3.
Travis will hit that shot a little bit more consistently from the perimeter than Kenny Anderson. But he doesn't have Kenny Anderson's open court blinding speed with the basketball. But he will be a tremendous guard at Georgia Tech. He's one one of the diaper dandies in America, one of the impact freshman players. Good defensive play.
We'll take a timeout. 2:20 remaining in the half. 14-point lead for the Cowboys.
Barry Sutton's done an amazing job. Think about this. 4 schools he's taken, the only coach in America, to the NCAA tournament. Started with Creighton, then it was Arkansas. He had 9 straight trips, 3 in a row at Kentucky before that one disaster year. And then he came his first year at Oklahoma State, right to the NCAA, where they lost in Sweet 16 by 1 inch the loss because of a 3-point shot, which the game could have ended in regulation and went to OT. And Mark Shakin, Bacon, Macon, and John Chaney, one of the beautiful people in coaching, went to the next round and lost a heartbreaker to the Tar Heels of North Carolina, who had a great win the other day coming from behind against Houston, 15 down on the road. Hubert Davis doesn't get the publicity he deserves.
Here's a guy who might not either. Alexander with the ball right now had 5 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds so far. Just one of about 6 or 7 contributors for Oklahoma State.
And he does a good job on the defensive end. His dad's a coach too. Alexander with the ball right there, shooting the little jumper, good dribble move. His dad's an assistant coach down in Mississippi.
Best for the penetration, couldn't get it to go.
Watch this speed. Watch this speed. He's going to be a defensive back in the NFL.
He's built like a defensive back. Looks like a defensive back.
He's got great quickness.
Alexander tried to get it around Geiger and couldn't quite do it. And a foul from behind on Davis.
Pace of the game is so slow right now for Georgia Tech. They seem to be lulled into a real passive pace. And that game against, Texas, you talk about run and shoot. Premis's club was up and down, put 120 on the board. He was really concerned today at the workout, but he's always concerned, Bobby. Out of Southern Boulevard here in the Bronx, New York. There's a lot of requests for tickets, all kinds of people calling them up.
Byron Houston back into the ballgame after a very short rest, and Davis will leave with 3 personal fouls.
I thought it was a great move by Sutton to take him out because he missed his last 3 shots.
Georgia Tech outsized in this ballgame, but right now they are really doing a job on the boards.
Tom Mees coming up next. Big Tom doing a phenomenal job in here. Talking about UNLV and some of their other problems. There's the good steal. Pulled up his dribble, gave it to Houston.
Fight for the ball, and it'll be a jump ball. A possession arrow pointing toward Oklahoma State.
He was labeled as being a dirty player at Houston with elbows, etc. by a lot of guys. He says, hey, I just play the game tough. I play with a ferocious tendency, and that's the way I play the game.
I've now seen him 3 times. I haven't seen anything that I would interpret as dirty.
I can't see any. The only thing dirty he does is take him to the winner's circle and makes the other coach cry. Look at him getting a post position there.
Just terrific. Spread out.
Oh, just a great play right there. Should have drawn the contact, but they get him for the foul.
Go down the other way, John. I'm going to shoot.
Watch him post inside. Single reverse move inside. Gets that great post position. He's going to work on a baseline. See, even though he missed the shot right there and they didn't commit the foul, he showed his agility. If you're a pro scout sitting on a sideline and evaluating him, you're saying, 1, he's got range as a shooter. 2, he can pass the basketball. 3, he's a bona fide big-time rebounder. 4, he's got mobility and agility in taking the ball to the goal. 5, give him a multi-million-dollar contract because he is going to be a special player.
But you only get 5 if you get the first 4, right?
There's no substitute for shooting the basketball. I think that certain guys come in the league in the NBA and they can't shoot in college, but they rely on transition, and they think they're going to change, and they don't. The other day I was looking at a box score. Stacey Augmon was like 0 for 3 in 20 minutes. Billy Owens was 0 for 4 in about 30 minutes. Kenny Anderson was 1 for 6 in 20 minutes. I mean, guys that have ripped. Mark Macon was 0 for 3 in 30 minutes.
Of course, the exception to that rule is Hardaway at Golden State. Wasn't a shooter in college at Texas El Paso.
Well, he's become a great player. They're running what we call a 2-3, looking for the backdoor cut. They're trying to score if it's there, use some clock. This was made famous by Eddie Sutton at Creighton, and then Al McGuire utilized it in 1977 when they won the national championship, and Mr. McGuire called it Creighton. He said, it's Creighton. Eddie said, I got it from Hank Iba. And what it is, it's a 2-3 set where you have movement away from the ball, you occupy the defense at all times, and you clear out any kind of potential help by being foul lane extended, and you're looking to run the backdoor cut.
And I'm sure Hank Iba got it from Dr. Naismith.
I'll tell you one thing, when I watch him play with those black sneakers, it looked like that was in the days of Dr. Naismith when they used to shoot the two-hand set shot and played down the YMCA. I was teasing Sutton. I said, hey, they wore those shoes when you played, Sutton, and you had your underwear hanging out of your pants. I mean, incredible in the olden days. Get rid of those black shoes.
Newell stayed with it for the rebound.
What a great job inside defensively. Their post defense has been incredible down in the boxes. The big people have been so limited. I mean, this guy's keeping him in the game. He's playing his heart out. It's that competitive drive from Mom Pam, who's an athlete, and certainly from the guy by the name of Mr. Barry.
Nice little move across the lane and a nice touch, John Barry. He's got 6, and he's earned them.
Well, they go to a 1-4 set.
And Williams hits it.
So well drilled. Go to a 1-4 set, getting the high percentage shot. They just isolate the ball at the point, draw contact, kick the ball to the open shooter. Eddie Sutton gets A+ for putting a clinic on.
Hard to imagine that you could do it any better than he did in the first half. Not only Houston, but his team. 10 points, 3 rebounds. Absolutely, as you said, Dick, a clinic by Oklahoma State. 43-27 at halftime. Tom Mees joins you after all of this. Don't go away.
The first half, a real clinic put on by Oklahoma State. Cowboys leading it by 16, 43-27. Earlier this afternoon, in the third-place game of the NIT, Texas Longhorns taking on the Pitt Panthers, and Pittsburgh, off to an impressive start this year, wins the game 91-87.
Barry Tompkins with Dick Vitale. A clinic put on so far by Oklahoma State. They lead it by 16 at the half. I guess a couple of the things that you say to your players as a coach are take high percentage shots, and then at the other end, just give them one. 59% shooting in the first half for Oklahoma State, not rebounding them 22-12.
Barry, we talked about post defense. We talked about pressure defense. We talked about beating cutters to the ball. And they did all of those things in the first half. Their post defense, they closed off the post inside. They absolutely sealed off Mackey and Geiger. They couldn't do a thing down in the boxes. There's Geiger right now. Watch him close off the post. He turns one way. He spins. There's the help. He kicks the ball out. There is a turnover. And not only is it a turnover, they converted up the other end of the floor. Sean Sutton dumps it off. And there goes Alexander with the deuce. And I'll tell you one thing, Mackey and Geiger, you look between them, 7 points and 4 points. And the other day, you just looked it up, they had 53 points between them down in the boxes. I think a key right now for Georgia Tech, as you and I were talking off the air, I really believe that Travis Best has to push the ball up the floor quicker to try and create some numbers. He's playing very passive, and they're playing a very passive game offensively, Georgia Tech.
Yeah, in fact, we started this ball game by talking about the fact that even though all the spotlight is focused on the big guys, it may be the little guys that in the end determine the outcome. Now let's take a look at the numbers as you look at Bobby Cremins. And I'm not quite sure what Bobby had to say to his team, but he's got to change things in a big hurry. Look at the shooting percentage, tremendous. And that, as you pointed out early, is because they're getting high percentage easy shots.
Well, that's just coaching. When you get your teams to get the high percentage shot, you look year in and year out. Sutton, Dean Smith. You look at the guys as we look at Eddie Sutton. Come on, Eddie, smile. Smile. You're at your alma mater. You got the big lead. He's got Rob Evans sitting to his right. Rob Evans, for years, was an assistant at Texas Tech. Set play, little back screen. There's Sutton out in transition.
Darwin Alexander gets it down low to Williams. And Williams is fouled. I started to say travel. I couldn't quite see the call.
Barry, as I was saying a little bit earlier, the Dean Smiths, the Bobby Knights, guys like Sutton, their teams always take good shots. And when you take good shots, you always put yourself in that position for a chance to get the W.
And to conclude the thought about the fact that little men will sometimes rise up. 25 points in the first half out of Oklahoma State's 3 starting guards.
Well, they have one of the best guard combinations in America. I would rate the Ohio State backcourt as the best because of Jimmy Jackson, who could swing back there. But I'd put this one right after it.
Sutton, nice drive. Went right underneath Barry, who jumped out at him at the three-point line.
And it's not that they have sensational talent, but they really play so well offensively, defensively. And the 3 guys, Williams, Alexander, and Sutton, are an excellent combination in the backcourt.
Byron Houston stepping in the passing lane at the other end, and now a turnover this way.
Boy, have they done a great job neutralizing this little guy right here. See, they're making him pick his dribble up. There's the entry down inside. Made him kick the ball out. Again, good post defense. Made him give up the rock.
Mackey playing with 3 fouls, remember. Alexander, the jumper, too hard off the glass. Geiger clear.
See, here's what best now. Got to push the ball. He's got to push the ball. He's an excellent penetrator. That's what he has to do. Beat the defense. Look to dish. They're standing a little bit too much.
Geiger, the lean in.
Good move by Matt Geiger. 7-footer trying to catch the eyes. The pro scouts that are here. Just was talking at halftime. Part of the Bernie Ernie show. Mr. Ernie Grunfeld. Played at Tennessee. Now the GM here with the New York Knicks.
Well, he's put on about 20 pounds and gained an inch, he said. So Geiger, a bigger model than the one that we saw last year.
There's that ball movement we were talking about. Look at the motion without the ball. Try and watch the offside, and you see a lot of motion. That was a clear. They ran a clear out. Sutton wants the hole. Should have had the hole.
And a reach-in foul called. I believe it's on Sutton.
Matt Geiger, 16 points a game at Auburn, leaves Auburn, almost went to Villanova, decided to play for Bobby Cremins. A lot of expectations last year, had a very mediocre year, an up-and-down year, but he's really played well thus far early this season. Coming into this game, he's had some solid performances.
Mackey down low, around Houston. Nice move, but he couldn't get it to go.
Brian Reeves doesn't have the great quickness, the know-how. He gets his 6th rebound. Gans Oklahoma. I mean, he's going to put Gans on the map. Could they be on the map? 300
I don't know. It's a few more folks to get on the map.
Wow. So funny, when he played in high school, they didn't have enough people to play 5-on-5 his team.
That one won't go from Houston. Grits his teeth as he comes the other way.
See, here's what Travis Best in the open court's got to push the ball.
Went for the 3 and stuck it.
He can shoot the ball. He's got great range as a shooter. He's got to become a little bit more offensive-minded instead of being so passive. He scored 81 points in a high school game last year in Springfield, Massachusetts. Hall of Fame, Joel Bryant's people. You got to get up there if you love basketball to see the Hall of Fame. It's a thing of beauty. Cremins trying to get a little excited, get his team a little fired up. He was a fiery guy when he played at South Carolina. The Underground Railroad, Mr. Frank McGuire had. What in Tom Riker, Tom Owens, who joined him.
Sutton open again.
He's not missing. Well, he's not going to miss the shot if he's got the clear look. He's got excellent rotation. He went to Purdue for about 10 days. Said he didn't feel comfortable there, and then went to junior college.
Forrest, a power move to the basket, couldn't get it. Mackey follows.
Mackey with the good offensive rebound. Second in rebounding last year in the ACC. Dale Davis was #1. DD now with the Indiana Pacers. Oh, backdoor cut. What a clinic. Mr. Sutton. His daddy says, that's my boy. That's my boy. That's Short Jr.
Off the pass from Houston, who gave it a great look. 17 for Sutton.
Seen a few backdoor cuts in his days. Watching practice as a little guy. Watching his dad.
Look at Alexander on the floor. Forrest picks it up, kicks it out for Geiger. Nice play by Reeves, forced him too deep on the baseline.
Well, right now, Georgia Tech not getting good spacing offensively, and they're making it a little easier for to give a little help on the defensive end. Here's where Travis Best got to strip the defense a little bit.
Barry just lost the handle, was thinking 3, instead puts up a 2 from the baseline, tough angle, it won't go.
Watch this quickness. Watch this quickness. Watch this quickness. Ooh! Tough angle on it. Best made a good defensive play to force the bad angle on the shot.
Mackey behind a double screen. And a foul reaching in. I think they got Reeves.
Byron Houston, one of the big raps at halftime, talking to some of the GMs here. They basically wonder if he can put the ball on the floor. I said, forget it. You guys, everybody wants to find a floor. They look at size. We talk about guys in speed. We're not measuring guys to run in the Olympics. We're measuring basketball players in his heart and toughness, and he can shoot the ball. There is no substitute, believe me, like a guy that can shoot the rock.
So Mackey at the line. He struggled all night. Incidentally, they gave that foul to Houston, not Reeves.
Georgia Tech's got a big date with Villanova, who played their first game and were blown out by that Houston team that had North Carolina down by 15 before Dean Smith. Michelangelo had his team basically back in that second half. They scrapped and fought, and that was one tough win. Because Houston's got some really outstanding talent with Sam Mack and Upchurch and Derek Daniels.
15:31 left. 14-point lead, Oklahoma State.
Thank yous. Let's play a little Thanksgiving thank yous here in the Big Apple. I'm going to lay them on you. Mike Krzyzewski for winning it the right way with student athletes. Bobby Knight, over 20 years, a man of integrity. Shaquille O'Neal takes education, says the heck with the cash. Jimmy Jackson, a class kid, a true All-American. And ESPN for a smorgasbord of hoops, baby. Tomo Jackson and Lauren Matthews, his upper echelon guy, do a great job of putting together an unbelievable schedule, and I thank ESPN. Hey, plus they give me a chance to work. I really got to thank them.
You and me both. I like it. Put bread on my table, feed my son.
Hey, already this season's been so wacky. Pittsburgh blowing away Kentucky at Kentucky. We've had that blowout where Villanova loses by 30. Michigan State goes out and wins the Maui Classic. We had Indiana getting beat in that first game by UCLA, and we're not even into December yet.
That's great. I like that. I don't particularly agree with parity in the NFL, but I do in college basketball. Houston to the basket, makes it good. He missed 6 in a row. Makes good on that one. That wasn't easy.
I want to see all the critics that said he can't drive with the basketball, that he can't drive. I'm trying to stand up to fight him and point to him. What did he do there? He just floated through the air, put the ball on the deck, and went to the goal. Byron Houston shut those critics down. He likes the Big Apple. I was walking back with him yesterday down here, and we were walking through Times Square, and I said, hey, I don't know, maybe you'll be here. He said, I would like that, to be here in the Big Apple.
Alexander runs down another rebound. He's got about 6 rebounds.
He's a tough competitor. His dad, Dennis, was a heck of a player as well. Now worked for Sutton, Mississippi.
Davis can't get it. Newbill clears.
Little shake and bake. I tell you, they're making life tough for him. He's not able to beat him with that dribble penetration.
Another thing I really like, Dick, about Oklahoma State, they get back defensively so well.
Oh, that's a great call you just made right there. Defensive transition, Barry. Don't allow the team the easy basket. Mackey draws the contact. You know, following up on what you and I were talking about some of these matchups early, Curry Kirkpatrick, who does a tremendous job, a really innovative writer for Sports Illustrated, wrote a great piece in the back of the point after column about the fact that enjoy the season. There are some sensational matchups during the season before you start thinking about Final Four. And that's really the beauty of college basketball, the unpredictability and the great emotional matchups that we'll start to see across America.
Next week, of course, plenty of basketball coming your way here on ESPN. You'll be down in Greensboro a little later in the week.
Oh, I can't wait to go to Greensboro. St. John's and Duke, Virginia and Georgetown. We'll get to see some really a great matchup. The question is whether Christian Laettner will play, but they got a great diaper dandy in Cherokee Parks. And Bob Hurley, forget about it. The kid's just a bona fide big winner at that point guard slot.
I got to give a little blast to my guys in the Pac-10 conference, too. Much improved conference. There's some good teams out there this year.
Oh, no question. Don't judge Arizona State on their current cast because Bill Frieda is playing with a short deck. Those guys ran to the telephone, baby. They better get away from that telephone and play some hoops, Jamal Faulkner and company.
14-point lead. Here's Corey Williams to the basket. No goaltending. Pinned it against the glass. It's legal.
Newbell made a heck of a play. Williams just hesitated for a second as he was delivering the basketball. But that was a great clinic in breaking the pressure with the diagonal cut.
Vincent tried to get it to Geiger. Geiger stepped out and Vincent went in.
Barry, no spacing at all offensively. Now here comes Williams. Now watch this. He's going to slow down just a little bit. See, he hesitates there, and here comes Newbell, the intimidator, and he pins it and he grabs that baby. Great block. He got that ball on its way up, did not get it on its way down. He said to me today, he said, I'm not as mean as you say, Coach. I'm a nice little guy. I said, you got that mean stare.
Vincent for 3.
That's his game. Shoot the 3.
One thing that Eddie Sutton is going to have to concern himself with. Right now, he's got Hatcher and Davis with 4 fouls each.
That's big because they're two experienced people. Big defensive stop right here by Georgia Tech. They can get it under 10. They're standing there jubilant on the sideline. They smell one of their spurts.
Hatcher will sit along with Davis. So now for Oklahoma State, it is Williams, Sutton, Reeves, Milt, Brown, and Houston.
They have 8 players. Both clubs really use 8 players. Big possession right here.
Hill in the ball game for the first time with the ball.
I would go to Geiger. I'd slide Geiger against the inexperienced guy, Reeves, down inside. I'd go against the freshman. See if they use their head right here. There's good defense out on the perimeter. See, Geiger's got to be aggressive and want the ball right here against the freshman. He's a 5-year player. He's trying to point to it. Best gave up his dribble too soon. That's where you want to go. Go right at the freshman.
Leaned in, count the basket, drew the foul. Where'd I hear that?
Cremens. I mean, that is just smart basketball, except Best gave his dribble up just a little bit too soon and didn't really have the great angle for the entry. Now look, he's pointing to him. He's saying, please get over there, Travis. Get over there and get me the ball. He gets it to him, and right here, he takes advantage of the young guy's lack of speed and goes right by him. Big play. Randy Davis sitting on that sideline. They're going to need his quickness on the floor.
And he, remember, has 4 personal fouls, and Reeves now has 3. So Eddie Sutton getting himself into a situation that could be of some concern.
We are going to have a good finish to this game.
Houston out front for 3. Too hard. Geiger the rebound.
Good inside possession. Hill on the floor started 28 games last year. See, again, right now, I'd go against Reeves again. I'd try to take advantage of the young guy, try to isolate Geiger. See, Best is not getting a good passing angle, so where he is up on top. Get a better passing angle. There's like a yo-yo on his hand. Look at him change direction. Low. Nice pass. That's what he has to do. Break the defense down. Dribble penetration. The Rambler back.
6-point game. Give the basket to Newville. Give the credit to Best. Gonna call a foul on Hill.
They pick up their defensive intensity. Hill is a physical player.
We're going to take a timeout. 11:49 left. The Yellow Jackets right there. It's a 6-point game.
Show a little dribble penetration. He's going to drive and dish the rock. He's going to drive and strip the defense. A change of direction around the back. And there he is. He goes down the lane. He dishes it off. The little handoff. There's Newville with the deuce. All game long, he's been playing passive on the perimeter, Mr. Best, rather than breaking the defense down like he did right there. But he will be a D&D-er, baby. A diaper dandy.
Long way to go. 11:43. It's a 6-point game. That's as close as Tech has been since the early going.
This is where Byron Houston now is being challenged. He has to rise to another level now because as the All-American, the All-Rolls-Royce player, you have to show your club when they're in trouble that you're going to bail them out.
And the other real problem for Eddie Sutton,
They get him for a foul.
Yes, with his off arm. Call it on Houston.
They really have broken their entire rhythm down offensively. They have to try to pick it up back with their defense. They need a stop right here.
3 fouls on Houston, 3 fouls on Reeves, 4 fouls on Davis, 4 fouls on Hatcher.
I'd play a little 2-man game with Barry and Geiger.
Good help out that time. Houston the rejection, but the ball comes down to Forrest. He can't get it, and Reeves clears.
I'd have played a little 2-man game. Barry and Geiger. Let Geiger go consistently at Reeves. Blank's going to be a heck of a player, but he's inexperienced right now. Look at him motion away from the ball. Byron's going to want the rock now. He's option number 1. They got to get the ball. The key is to get it to option number 1.
Mackey doing a pretty good job on Houston.
They've picked up their defensive intensity, and I think the reason is because of Hill on the floor.
There's Reeves. Reeves don't get the ball up very high on his shot, does he?
Didn't have a good look at the basket. Geiger running the floor.
Perfectly. Kick out nicely for Barry as he was too far under, and a foul is going to be called on Milt Brown.
Milt Brown, tough defensive player, good rebounder. And he gets his son Sean back on the floor to provide some spark in terms of leadership. What a run they've had. 10-zip in the last 4 minutes.
And the other side of that coin.
0 for the last 7, Oklahoma State, the Cowboys. I'd go to a little full court trap right after this. If you convert the score, rather than back up, show them you're going to attack.
Very uncharacteristically misses a free throw.
Now let's see the leader right here. Let's see Sean Sutton. Plays with a lot of intensity. See if he gets the ball to the right people. Oh, they're going to their Creighton game.
And a turnover, a rare turnover for Sutton. Hill to the basket, can't get it, but right there for the follow is Geiger, who right now is really playing his heart out.
Geiger really running up and down the floor. The Creighton game is a 2-3 set, foul lane extended. You usually use it when you have the lead and you try to get a score at it. You're not just trying to milk the clock, you're trying to get a score. creates a lot of problems for the defense, especially with the big people, because they have to go up on the court and chase people.
They called a foul on Barry away from the ball.
Duke really runs it well down there at Durham, North Carolina. They're running it right now. That's the Creighton game where you just basically clear out the entire help and you set yourself where you're thinking backdoor from the wing, backdoor from the post, or a one-on-one dribble drive from the wing. Eddie Sutton ran that constantly yesterday at practice. He said if we get the lead late, we're going to let their big people have to chase us. I don't think he wanted to go to it, though, with 9 minutes on the clock, up 4. I thought basically he was thinking 5 minutes to go in a game. See, they're going to run this for a score, though. They're looking either to get a backdoor cut. They want their big people like Geiger and them to have to chase. He weaves out here to get motion on a weak side. They'll let him use a dribble move if he wants to beat him with a dribble move. They'll use a lot of clock.
Almost an errant pass by Houston.
Constantly getting motion away from the ball. The key is to be foul lane extended and not stay in that 3-second area where they can give help.
Plenty of time on the clock, 15 seconds.
And you always have a release man from the post. Whenever in trouble, the release man is the post. Now they go to an offensive set to a 1-4.
And Alexander can't get it. Forrest clears.
See, here's what Best's got to push the ball.
Hill for 3. Geiger, the rebound over the top of Houston, out of bounds to the Cowboys.
That bench is so alive there. The Georgia Tech bench is into the game. They're cheering. Sherm Dillard, Kevin Cantwell, Jimmy Hebron, and Matt Geiger.
And they're going to give it now to Georgia Tech. Little conference between the officials, and they changed their mind.
Good call by the officials. The key is to make the right call, and the 3 guys got together, 3 heady guys. He doesn't think it's a right call, but he never loses his poise on the sideline. That's another great trademark of Eddie Sutton. Skip pass. Best playing up on top. You don't get good angles. You got to get the ball to the foul line extended for that good angle to post people. Ball in 3. They're going to try to get the ball to Geiger. They're going to try to get the ball to Geiger. Oh, they had it set. He was going to the wing and dumping right down into the big fella.
8 minutes, 47 seconds left. Georgia Tech has chewed 12 points of a 16-point lead up, and it is a 52-48 ball game. This one's up for grabs right now.
Playing for that gold trophy here preseason. As that screen up on top and step back from the screen, Houston. Guy that lays the screen is always a dangerous player. They're having a tough time getting the ball over to Houston. Mackey's chasing them all over up on top.
Mackey's a different guy defensively in this half. Alexander open, got Best in the air, give it up for Sutton for 3. Too hard. Reeves gets it back for the putback.
Good
and
rebound.
A foul.
Good rebound by Reeves. Bob Barnett with the call. He emphatically says it's a 3-point shot for the kid from Gans, Oklahoma, who when he was walking the streets yesterday, he said immediately when I saw these buildings, I called my mom up. I said, I can't believe it. Watch 50. It just comes to him. He said, nobody's blocking me out. Where's Geiger? He's out on the perimeter. Nobody blocking out.
And it gives Reeves a real chance. And he's not a bad free throw shooter.
Bryant is going to be a heck of a player. People better take advantage of him now because they're not going to take advantage of him in about 2 years. He has great work ethic, tremendous attitude. See, they're looking to go to Geiger. Get it to Geiger, John. Get it to Geiger. Get it to him in a post. Should have drop step.
Best for the jumper. Yes, for 3.
He can shoot the J, baby. Plays under control. He's just got to get a little bit hungrier offensively. I think as a freshman, he's trying to just feel his way in. He wants to be one of the guys. Oh, look at that screen by Houston. He got over the top, though. Good job by Best. Byron's been really quiet the last 5 minutes.
Having trouble getting a hold of the ball, and you can thank Mackey for that.
And Mackey's working a lot harder defensively. He's got him in a one-on-one now. He's got 3 fouls. Should have stripped him, taking him to the goal.
There he is on the floor. Over Geiger.
I don't buy the argument he can't put the ball on the deck. I don't buy that argument at all. I don't buy that argument at all. I'm trying to get attention to somebody. I'm not going to tell him who gave me a big lecture at halftime that he doesn't put the ball on the deck. Yeah, Byron. Show him you can dribble the rock, baby. Square it up. Drill it, NBN. Nothing but nylon by the kid from out of Oklahoma State. Star Spencer High School. Put on 40 pounds. He drifts. He falls away. He fades. And the bench says, we love you, Byron.
They should. Tough shot, too.
That was a tough shot. I know I'm blind to one eye. But tell me something. You have two good eyes. You have two good eyes. Can he dribble the ball?
He can dribble the ball.
Thank you.
And I've seen him do it all year long.
Thank you.
And that's why I'm in this business and not a scout. Houston converts the three-point play. They've backed up three-point plays on the offensive end now and given up a three-point shot on the defensive end.
He's working here in the huddle. The elements of coaching we're going to talk about. He's really planning some strategy right now. I really think there are three major factors in coaching. The most important, recruiting ability. Get the great player. 2, your ability to motivate players and communicate. And 3, your game and practice preparation. Remember this, Barry. You don't win national championships without personnel. And you have to get personnel. So recruiting becomes the #1 key. And Bobby Crimmins does a great job in that area. And as far as strategy, I mean, you're a college graduate. If you go to these clinics, you learn all the strategy you want. And that's where I'd go with the ball right now. To the big guy, Geiger.
Geiger with a big second half. And Mackey on the defensive end.
They're going to go to a little trap now. You might see the run and jump that is utilized by Dean Smith. And they worked on this in practice yesterday. Spin dribble opposite the run and jump.
Hatcher saved it off of Barry. It'll be the Cowboys' ball.
See, the key offensively in a situation when you're facing pressure is to shorten the distance to the basketball. Basically, what I'm saying is meet the basketball. Reeves ran away from the basketball instead of shortening the distance to the ball by coming to the ball.
Another pick by Houston.
See when he steps back from the screen, he's wide open.
Hatcher helped him out there, too, with a nice little pick.
Did you notice how he lays the high screen? Best tries to get over the top, and then Houston takes one step back, gets the ball, and is in a one-on-one situation.
16 for Byron.
And he's made 2 big plays. They were really in big trouble, and he came through.
Geiger facing up on Reeves. Now leans in. Couldn't get the roll. Newbill there for the follow. It won't go, and Houston clears. Bodies everywhere.
Good play, though, by Georgia Tech. They got a high percentage shot out of Geiger. You watch when he lays the screen up on top.
Hatcher just got mugged, no call.
Houston likes to lay that screen up on top 35 and step back.
And now he gets a call. That was a wild and cutting. A reminder that we switch gears to football this Sunday, of course. As always, we start with NFL Game Day at noon Eastern Time. Then it's NFL Prime Time at 7 o'clock after the daytime games. And then our own game at 8 o'clock. It'll be Los Angeles. That is the Raiders versus the San Diego Chargers. 8-4 for the Raiders, 3-9 for the Chargers. But don't rule the Chargers out.
Hey, Tim Brown is back, bigger than ever. Ran back to kick recently. And what about the Rocket, man? He goes to that Canadian League, and he becomes a flat-out superstar.
60-53 ball game here. Cowboys, when they were challenged, have not gone away.
Well, when they were challenged, they went to their #1 option, and he delivered twice. Came up with 5 big points. The 3-point play, floating on a baseline. Byron Houston, and then a big jumper. Great attitude this guy has. He could make my club just hanging around the lobby with him last night. He and I were checking out all the people. I mean, you get some real characters through the lobbies, I'll tell you here.
All these guys had 11 to 1,000 cheerleaders in our hotel this weekend.
And if I've been asked 5 million times, maybe 5 million one time, what about St. John's and Louis Carter's sector? I know everybody's excited about seeing St. John's in New York against the General and the Hoosiers. We'll have it here on December 21st.
Geiger leans in, countered, he goes to the line.
I like the idea Matt Geiger wants the ball, and that's the great call. I like the idea that Mr. Crimmins and I are thinking alike right here.
Geiger with 18 points after 7 in the first half.
See, he's locking up on a post here against Reeves. Reeves just a half step slow. See right there, great drop step. Comes over his baseline foot. If you were to watch that closely, when he drop stepped, Geiger came right over his baseline foot, locked him, and had inside position.
All right, now let me ask you what Oklahoma State will do on the offensive end. Reeves leaves with 4 fouls. Both their big guys now get foul trouble.
I know what I would do right now. I'd go to his Creighton game. He's got 18 points, a big game for Geiger, and a slow-paced game. He's put 19 on a board, good second half. See, they're going to try to create a fast tempo with a little run and jump. But I would go to that 2-3 set, foul lane extended, and run his Creighton game, looking for the backdoor cut.
Now let's see if that's what they do.
Yes, he is. He's going into it right now.
5-second call.
Good defense. No one stepped out as an outlet to give him an outlet. Oh, he got the timeout. Did he get the timeout?
Might have. I thought I saw. In fact, I was sure the official called a 5-second call. 5:25 left and a timeout before the call.
Really hard to try to get the 5-second call against Sean Sutton. Look at him digging in. He says, you can't beat me, Sean. I'm staying between you and the basket. You can't beat me. Now right there, freeze it. Look at number 3, Travis Best. Watch him ball you man with great defensive denial. See how he denies the ball to Alexander? But Alexander 14, look, he gets the timeout right before the 5-second call. Smart play by a coach's son. His daddy down at Ole Miss as an assistant. We'll be proud of Darryl.
Remember the rebounding edge we talked about with the Cowboys in the first half? Alexander tries it, gets it. It was 22-13 first half. Tech 11-7 in the second half.
Alexander pops out, shoots the jumper on the elbow jump shot. Good move right there by Alexander to get free. Nothing like motion without the basketball. Easiest guy to play is a guy that stands and watches. And that was the problem I thought last year with Georgia Tech. They finished 17-13. Everybody was a Kodak man. They were snapping pictures, taking pictures of Kenny Anderson, thinking about, wow, I want to show everybody I played with Kenny.
Get used to this scene because you're going to see them try to pound it down low for the rest of this game. Both the big man of the Cowboys in foul trouble. Davis playing now with 4.
I think it's really important for Oklahoma State to go to that Creighton game, the 2-3 foul lane extended, and use some clock and make these big people, Mackey and Geiger, have to chase them up above the foul lane. Byron gets his 4th along with Davis.
Talks it in.
He has an excellent touch. Good rotation out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. Highly rated in high school. Let's see if they go to this run and jump defense. Dean Smith was the guy that started it, the innovative one, Michelangelo. See if he invites him to usually bring him to a sideline, and the wing guy will run and jump, and they just take a wild man switch.
They had Houston to cutter, missed him.
See, now they're using the outlet of the post guy to come up for the ball. They're back into that Creighton game. Foul lane extended. The post guy, Hatcher, steps out as the release man. They're looking to get a backdoor cut from the wings. Trying to set him up for a backdoor cut from the wings. Look, using the clock, number 1, but still trying to put points on the board with dribble penetration.
Count the basket. You couldn't execute that any better.
There's one of the options out of this because you can't get help. There's no one down in the lane to provide help. So you have a big opening. Here's Sean Sutton. He sees the opening. He says, I'm making like a Cowboy. I'm making like a Barry Sanders and a Thurman Thomas. I'm going down the lane. Count the deuce, baby. Doesn't have great speed. But remember, this is not the Olympics and the 100-yard dash. Or is it 100 meters?
Same thing. So Sutton to try to convert the 3-point play. It's a big one.
What a big play by Sean Sutton.
And Barry is hurt and on the sideline. Did not see him go down, and I'm not quite sure what happened.
Boy, they can't afford to lose that guy. He's such a tough competitor who's made himself into a complete guard.
Looks like a hand or a wrist. Does not appear to be a leg injury. We'll try to find out.
Houston with the great block, 4 fouls, and he goes up and gets a piece of the ball. Geiger, no head fake. Remember I said earlier to you young kids, ball fake, head fake. Now here comes this offense. They run this like a clinic. 2-3. They're trying to sneak from the sideline, trying to get a backdoor cut or a dribble penetration down the middle.
Nice steal. Vincent, no call to the basket. Missed the shot. How do you like it?
Oh, that's going to hurt when he goes to sleep tonight. Should have just laid it on the glass or jammed it with some authority. Oh, you can't hand check him out here. You got to get your hands off him. Smart play by Sutton. Brings the ball out.
3:15 on the game clock, 22 seconds on the shot clock.
I would have this as part of my arsenal if I were coaching today. I love that 2-3 foul lane extended offense.
Over on the Georgia Tech bench, they are wrapping the hand of John Barry. It looks as though it could be either a thumb or a wrist. If I had to guess, I would say it was his thumb on his right hand.
The 19th foul. Remember, on the 10th, you get 2 shots, you get the bonus.
There you see. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
A rule I never really liked, Barry. I don't like that 10-foul situation.
So whatever the injury to John Barry, it does not appear to be incapacitating, and he comes back in with a sore paw, to be sure. But
Sutton went out, get a little drink of water, rest himself. They'll bring them back when they get possession of the basketball.
Alexander at the free throw line. This is not a bad line for the senior here. We'll tell you about it in just a second. Coming up, of course, DePaul, the 20th ranked team in the country, and Memphis State. They're going to be a player, I think, before too long, too.
Anthony Hardaway and also David Vaughn, the diaper dandy. But DePaul's a very deep team led by David Booth. They got a deep basketball team. Joey Meyer's team, the great Midwest Conference debut in the Pyramid, the new building down in Memphis State.
How about the line of Alexander to help his team?
Had 11 points, 6 boards, and 7 assists. 6 boards, a little guard. And plus tremendous team defense with his quickness out on the perimeter.
2:58 left. It's an 11-point game.
They say that's okay, Randy. You fouled out. That's okay. We'll bring Brian in right now. You did a good job, Randy. Don't feel bad, Randy. Go to the sideline. Here comes big Mr. Reeves replacing Randy Davis. He's got to put a little buck on his body. Junior college transfer.
Eddie likes it, though.
I'll tell you, they got some great players sitting out. You should see some of the talent they have sitting out. They got a kid by the name of Brooks Thompson, a tremendous player. He can really flat-out score. He's from out of Texas A&M. Led them in scoring. Vaughn Bennett, a 6'9" kid from Texas El Paso, a Stillwater kid. And then next year they get Fred Burley, tremendous player from Seminole Junior College, one of the best 5 junior college players in the nation. So things look really very bright down in Stillwater.
It's a 10-point game, 69-59, just inside of 3 minutes.
Good pass. Throw the ball across the defense. Get it away from the trap. Oh, they had him sooner. A little too late. See now, watch. Reeves will be a release guy. Steps out for the ball. Can see Alexander. Give me the ball. Give me the ball. Showing his leadership. If you start extending right now, you're set up for that. You're set up for that back door, using the clock, winding down that 45-second clock.
Houston reverse, yes!
Can't dribble with the basketball. Can't dribble with the basketball. I cannot believe it. I don't know how he got there. He didn't just float through the air.
Ready to rest your case?
Case is resting.
Mackey, turn around. Can't get the roll. Alexander the rebound. His 7th.
See, that drive was created by the offensive setup because you can't get help on the defense. Good strip by Best
to the basket.
He looks like he doesn't break a sweat, Travis Best, doesn't he?
He does.
He seems to go at that one motion. Bobby Crevens is breaking a sweat on that sideline.
There's another turnover, and all of a sudden we might have a game here, folks.
4-2. He knocks this 3 down.
Yes!
Knocks this 3 down.
That's 5 unanswered in a big hurry. 1:32 left, 71-64 State. Bobby Crevens in a huddle talking about the fact they got to go after the ball. If they don't get the ball in the first chance, you got to foul. And the guys to foul, he said, were Reeves and Williams.
Yeah, 5. Who's got 5? I got Williams. Deny everybody. You know what? You got a couple Williams.
Right now, he's talking about denying. He's talking about gambling on defense. As you see here, the reset. Oklahoma State with the timeouts, 2. Georgia Tech only with 1. Total fouls, 10 and 9. Possession arrow goes to Oklahoma State. Basically, he doesn't want any time to go off that clock. They got to gamble and make the quick steal. They got to foul quickly. Looking at 3. Looking at 3 possible possessions. See, there's the run and jump right there. Barry leaves his man. That's the guy that wanted a foul. They said Williams or Reeves.
So that will put Corey Williams at the free throw line. He was a 70% free throw shooter last year, so he's not a bad shooter at the line.
Now watch Barry defensively. They get the ball to Williams. He's going to gamble. There's the run. They're trying to get into a trap. Very quick player, Corey. He's got to feel good, too. They're down to Macon, Georgia, is where he's from. And he wants to go back and get the bragging rights against the Ramblin' Wreck. He said, you're going to foul me? He said, it's automatic. Come on now, Coach Crimmins. You're going to foul me.
Call your man out. Call your man out. Call your man out.
Got a boat.
I like the toughness of this Oklahoma State team. And this is certainly, if they get the W here, beating the ACC, going to give them a lot of confidence.
Vincent tried the three. Williams just got his attention, diverted enough. Nice save by Vincent. Newbill was too far underneath. Mackey tries the third time. Newbill will have a fourth try, and Houston fouled him from behind.
He's got to be calm right now. Doesn't want to get a technical. Doesn't want to get a technical. He fouled him. Come on now. Stop crying. Stop moaning, groaning. Come on. You don't want to make my all-crybaby team. You don't want to make my all-crybaby team. I'll be searching for guys. Don McLean, I didn't pick you yet. You've been good. You've been good. Last year, Don McLean was the captain.
Don's my guy. He's grown up. I'm absolutely convinced. Houston fouls out with 19 points, but a big-time player in a big-time game.
And if they win the game here, I got to believe he's the MVP. He goes with the Most Valuable Player award. 9-point lead. You look at 3 possessions with that 3-point shot. And a guy like Barry who can knock it down. Score here. Got to get into real pressure defense immediately after the score. See, here's where Sean Sutton becomes so important to a club. He's got to go meet the basketball, get it in his hands, get his club organized. Oh, wow.
That wasn't pretty, was it?
That looked like yours. That looked like yours. Kissing it off the glass.
Except that mine don't go down.
Sean Sutton had that big first half.
1 out of 2.
Tuck the ball. Look at him. Tucking the ball, hugging it. See, there's the run and jump. There's the run and jump.
Vincent got him from behind.
Actually, I'll take that back. I wouldn't call that a run and jump as much as a wild man double team, because Vincent would leave his man to go pick up the man that Barry was playing. Bob Evans sitting next to Eddie Sutton. Should have been the head coach down at Texas Tech. Put in a lot of years. Look at the field goal percentage defensively. Georgetown, year in and year out, does that. But you keep clubs under 40%, you got a great chance to win. You know, his assistants down in Arkansas were Pat Foster, who's now at Houston, and Gene Cady, who then went to Western Kentucky. What a staff. 1978, they go to the Final Four. That was the year Kentucky cut the nets down in St. Louis. At Duke there, Bill Foster coaching at Northwestern. A coach that's taken 4 schools to the 20-game win circle. Had the Fighting Irish there with Digger Phelps and Notre Dame as well.
And Williams promptly converts both free throws as he did the last time.
They don't want to foul now. They want to just play tough man-to-man defense. No secrets to what they do. They put pressure on the ball.
Barry tries the 3. Williams high for the rebound.
Get down and start celebrating now, baby. Start celebrating. Oh, Reeves had a little layup. He was all alone. He said, I was ready to jam that baby.
Vincent sticks a 3.
Vincent said, it's not over yet. It's not over yet.
I think there's 5 guys wearing black uniforms who might argue that point.
I get really frustrated when I don't see the intentional call there. I mean, it's so obvious. I know they're going after the ball, and the refs really are working within the intent of the rule. And I think Bob Barnett and company, along with Tim Higgins and Larry Lembo, have done a solid job here tonight.
So it puts Williams at the line again. He's been 4 of his last 4, and those are the ones he really needed.
Coming up next, you got the Ball of Memphis State, the great Midwest Conference. Only 6 teams in that conference. You talk about Cincinnati. You have Marquette in there along with St. Louis, University of Alabama, Birmingham. They got to go out and get 2 more teams to join that conference. I also feel Notre Dame belongs in a basketball conference if they want their basketball program to be elevated to that new level, because kids want to be excited to play in a conference and play in a postseason. I think Notre Dame would have been a natural with everybody else jumping around the country to the Big East for basketball.
Best takes it to the basket. Draws a foul. I'm not sure on who. Probably on Alexander. It is Alexander.
A lot of freshmen come into college with big reputations, and they want to be accepted. They want to be accepted by their peers. That old theory, peer pressure. So they play a little passive. They want to be accepted by everyone, and I think that's what Travis Best. I don't think we've seen the real Travis Best yet. This kid has got a lot of talent. Well, they're getting ready to celebrate in Stillwater. Didn't have too much to celebrate with the pigskin this year, but they'll celebrate with the round ball.
Now, they've already won 5 more games than the football team.
And we haven't even hit December 1st.
That's right.
I like that line. They're going to try to deny. Screaming, come on, Corey, get free for the ball. Look at there he is.
And he can't find a handle on it. It's over the sideline. It just won't make it easy on
Look
himself.
at that. Eddie's talking to him. He said, come on, calm down. Look at Bobby Cremens. He's still working. Look at Bobby's hairdo. He and Corky Carnival were some combination at South Carolina. You say Corky Carnival, his dad, well, great coach, Naval Academy, Ben Carnival. That was great for basketball.
Travis Best for 3 off the front rim. This one is in the books.
And this kid's getting some quality minutes. There's the foul on Bryant. Every game he gets a few more minutes. His junior year, he will be a special player.
Well, we mentioned the other day that Henry Iver, when he saw Bryant Reeves practice, he said, I have never seen such an improvement in the space of 1 week as in this kid from Gans, Oklahoma.
He said he was shocked. He told us yesterday as we're walking back from the garden back to the hotel. He said he was so shocked when he got off the plane and came into Times Square. He ran to the phone. He called his mother up. He said, I don't know if I like it in some place like this. Can you imagine 300-some people in his town? 3. I mean, you think that's a true story they're telling us?
Oh, yeah. No, I do. In fact, you were talking about the streets of New York and saying how unusual it was for him to see the big buildings. I think it's unusual for him to see the streets.
Wow.
Well, there's joy on the Oklahoma State sideline, as well there should be. This really is going to be a basketball team, Dick, you have to feel it's going to be reckoned with.
Oh, I think so, because of their defense, and especially at home. They don't lose at Gallagher, they don't lose in that facility. This kid gets 9 rebounds in a learning process. It's a good win, because I really think Georgia Tech's going to be a better team than they were last year.
Sure, it's exactly the way Eddie Sutton would have wanted this drawn up. This one is over, and it is a 7-point win for Oklahoma State over Georgia Tech. They are the preseason NIT champions, and I think you just have to say, well-earned.
Oh, well-earned with their great defense. There's a look at Byron Houston. He was the man. There's the hug. He goes over to Newbell. That's respect. That's respect. Byron will get the gold trophy. He'll walk out of here with the MVP. If he doesn't, you got yourself a major scoop, Mr. Tompkins.
Great win, though. Great win for Oklahoma State and a bunch of outstanding players. Pleasure to work with you, Dick, once again. Pleasure to do this tournament. 78-71, Oklahoma State. Here's Tom Eaves.
All right, Barry Tompkins and Dick Vitale, thank you very much. So congratulations to Eddie Sutton and the Oklahoma State Cowboys winning the NIT. Already they've got 5 victories against no losses as they head back home. Georgia Tech will head back home, too, for a slew of games. They don't hit the road until the ACC season in early January. Speaking of basketball, 8th-ranked championship game of the NIT at Madison Square Garden, New York. Georgia Tech taking on Oklahoma State. Let's go now and look at some highlights in case you missed any or all of the game. It was the Cowboys early. Byron Houston over to Sean Sutton, who finds Houston for the alley-oop. Nicely done. Cowboys lead by 6 early. Second half, Cornell Hatcher to Sutton in the corner. 3-pointer good. Cowboys by 16. Then Houston hits Sutton on the nice backdoor cut. Sutton led the Cowboys with 20 points. And Bobby Cremens needs to develop a new strategy over there on that Georgia Tech bench. You know what? He does it. Travis Best with the ball to Matt Geiger. Not a bad idea. Turnaround bank shot is good. Tech is back within 6. Geiger at 19. But Houston puts away with a baseline drive. Byron Houston, a coming out party in Madison Square Garden. The final score 78-71. Sean Sutton had 20 points. Oklahoma State rises to 5-0 in the season and cops the NIT championship. Georgia Tech will go back now and play a lot of games in Atlanta and in Alexander Coliseum. The next road game is
71 win over Georgia Tech. Byron Houston.
Oklahoma State Cowboys basketball team served notice not only to the Big 8 but to the nation by winning the Big Apple NIT championship. They played Georgia Tech in the title game tonight at Madison Square Garden. Let's have a look. OSU got it going quick in the NIT. Sean Sutton makes the great alley-oop pass. Watch this to Byron Houston for the dunk. Cowboys led 12-6 early. OSU's defense was tough as usual. Houston will make the steal here. The ball then right there makes the steal, goes to Cornell Hatcher, number 24. He dishes off to Sean Sutton in the corner. Watch this jumper. 19-8, OSU midway in the first half. Eddie Sutton saw his team's lead grow. Darwin Alexander will pass to Corey Williams for the long three-pointer right there. Boom, OSU led 28-11. Cowboys led Bobby Crimmon's team by 16 at halftime. Georgia Tech made a comeback in the second half, though. They made a 12-0 run to cut the lead to 4. Travis Best does his best, hits the three-pointer. But Oklahoma State held them off. Byron Houston scored 19, makes the drive, hits the beautiful fadeaway shot and draws the foul. Cowboys got the lead back to 12 points. Georgia Tech tried to come back, but watch Fred Vinson. He makes the steal, but he will very embarrassingly miss the dunk. And OSU won it by that score in the NIT consolation.
To beat the Yellow Jackets. And that's just what they did, at least in the first half. OSU building a 16-point lead by intermission. Sean Sutton fakes out Matt Geiger, pops for 2 of his 20 points. Byron Houston had 19 points tonight. The alley-oop from Sean, money in the bank. Well, that 16-point lead shrinks to 4 midway through the second half. Sutton gets his pocket picked. Matt Geiger will finish off the break. He leads the Jackets with 19 tonight, but Eddie calms the troops down. They go back to executing. Bryant Reed's going to be in the right place at the right time. You can count the bucket. And the country Cowboys take Manhattan by storm. The final score, 78-71. They are the champs of the NIT. The most valuable player, of course, it was Byron Houston. Now we've got the Cavs playing out on the road again.